Indiana for their education but are not originally from Indiana, there really needs to be some kind of an incentive for us to stick around after we graduate and not just go back to wherever it was that we came from or even to other states.
For me, being both a college student in this area and a resident of this area for my entire life, I consider Eastern Indiana my backyard. This is where I learned to tie my shoes, ride my bike, and this is where I fell in love. And truthfully, I have fallen in love with my community. And I consider it my responsibility to help provide an incentive to keep college graduates in my area.
The problem Happy Mondays is addressing is to create a for-profit business solution that helps address the current low college graduate retention rate in East Central Indiana, and that is the brain drain problem that we deal with today. A solution that Happy Mondays is going to address is to create what we consider a corporate cultural development firm, and that is essentially what we consider a consulting firm that will work with area corporations, startups, and non-for-profits in creating a more welcoming and attractive work environment for well, specifically young individuals, but also just a place to help retain employees in general. And our belief is a place, a happier environment where that's more welcoming to individuals will make them happier, and they're also more likely to retain those employees, and that'll save is a desirable characteristic for both the corporation and the employees. More specifically, Happy Mondays Corporation is going to be involved with office design, interior design. We will restructure the office space, redesign the break room area, leisure areas in the workspace, creating a happier place where employees will be more likely to be stress-free, they will be more productive, and this will benefit the employer as well because they'll be more likely to, this will increase revenues in the long run and also improve the bottom line. And other venues that we're going to pursue, corporate training and other things, promote a healthier and greener lifestyle, and encourage employees to such initiatives as riding a bike to work, and just like new popular initiatives and trends. And now, this picture basically shows that there's no limit to the type of work environment that can be a fun environment that can make people happy. And this is an example of the Googleplex actually in California. There's a slide in the workspace. So.
What college graduates want? Since we're trying to keep college grads here in Indiana, we looked at what are their goals, what are their aspirations, what are they hoping for. And also we looked at Generation Y, what makes us so unique, so separate from the generation that came before us. What we have definitely is a strong sense for community, that we want to have this sense of belonging. Also, what is very typical for Generation Y is that we want to change something. We want to step up, want to change something. We want some sort of empowerment. We want to know that our voice is being heard. We're used to a fast-paced lifestyle, but also what we hope for in a future job is that we have a sense of fulfillment, that we can really reach our full potential. And so far the problem is, at least so as we have perceived it, just in our conversation that we had last night, was how we perceive Indiana is that we are not necessarily excited to work here because we feel like that in Indiana, many businesses are a little bit stagnant, a little bit behind. They're not really open to new technologies, new ideas. And this is kind of where our interests clash. We are hoping with Happy Mondays to come up with a platform where these two interests meet and then kind of go together into the future.
The consultative service process begins with an initial meeting and consultation with the business owners and managers to kind of pinpoint those areas where they would like to see improvement and define the steps they want to make. Then we sit down, we research and observe the workforce, go into that and see the operations. And then we create a plan and design that plan specifically for that company. There is no cookie cutter plan with this. We then implement that plan with the help of the company, and then at the end of quarter 1 and quarter 2, we do a follow-up, and then at the end of quarter 4, we measure the year's progress.
And so the target markets that we're looking for initially are small and medium enterprises. The reason that we're doing this is because of the East Central Indiana location. There's a lot of these type of size industries in our location. So we really want to capitalize on the number so that as we continue to grow, we'll have a much larger bank of businesses to work with. And also build our portfolio per se in the businesses that we work with. incentive for companies to work with us. So an area that we have is the promotion area, is working with a little bit larger company than we might normally work with. And this would give us reputation, give us a track record at least. Ontario Systems is a good example of a company we would like to probably work with. And the idea is that, like I said, it would give us a track record, and as these SME-sized companies that we want to work with see that we're able to implement on a bigger scale, then that would give us validity. Another area is just examples. AHP, Hewlett Packard, is a company that we all know and familiar with. About a couple decades ago, they really struggled with just labor. They struggled with efficiency, productivity. And so how they increase productivity is not by increasing labor hours. They actually started slashing numbers. They actually started to allow people to go spend time with their families, have more benefits. And the reason that this actually helped profit the company is that these people were less stressed. These people had a totally transformed culture than what they're used to, and actually helped them benefit in the long run for the bottom line of the company. Another example, like I said, I mentioned earlier, Broadripple. This isn't exactly just a business example, but also a community example. We want our company to be a multi-level influence in the community, not just on business level, but on the whole community. So as you can see, Broadripple, I know a lot of you guys know as well, was a totally different place than it is now. It wasn't the young place. It wasn't full of entertainment, restaurants, and businesses and startups. It was a totally different kind of culture. So these businesses came in. It wasn't just the business influence, but it was the type of culture that was bred. And we really want to be a part of an influence in a community that breeds a totally new type of culture for these young postgraduates.
A quick overview of the financials. We are going to start consulting service at $80 an hour, which is just below industry average for this area. We project that we're going to be using about 50% of our employees' time for billable hours that they will be working on those projects. Total revenue for year one is $250,000, and our expenses for year one, $245,000, leaving us with $5,000 in profit.
Our goals for the future. One thing that we understand is that this problem cannot be solved tomorrow. It cannot be solved within a week. It cannot be solved within 1 year. It is something that needs to be addressed long term, when changes have to be made and implemented long term. We really try to go back down to the heart of the problem, to why college students don't feel welcome to stay here. Not say welcome, but be encouraged to stay here and work here. What we're trying to do is go the distance and go, as you can see, we have goals for 10 years to increase the grad retention rate up to 7 years within the first 10 years to get them excited to stay here. We understand it's a slow process. We have to go business by business, graduate by graduate. This is how we have to work to make it sustainable, to make it lasting for the future. And then even the next mark, you see, it's 20 years. So you might think 20 years is a long time, but think about it. If we get people to stay now, who is with them in 20 years? Hopefully, they're both married. Maybe they have kids. Maybe they have contributed to their community. And if their parents are excited to work somewhere, aren't the kids inspired by that? And if you could just think of a vision how it could look like in 20 years. Also, we hope as a corporation, as Happy Mondays, to grow ourselves so we can expand all across Indiana. And also that we can add more specialists to our team, like for interior design, or you can see also environmental initiative specialists or sustainability coordinator.
As we examine this problem of keeping graduates in state, Doris touched on this a little bit. This isn't a problem that can be solved by creating a huge corporation that will hire a couple thousand talented graduates in the area. We can't, build a town that's going to make people want to spend the rest of their lives here. happier employees, you have happier customers, and just overall it'll benefit them. And then for the graduates themselves, if we give them something to stay for, then they will stay. And we might not be able to say that we'll keep 500 new graduates in this year or anything like that. But we are hoping that through our initiatives that over the next several years, even though it may take a long time, that the things that we're going to be doing is really going to make a long-term impact in Indiana. And we just hope that both residents in Indiana as well as people in other states will kind of see that Indiana is more than just cornfields and can actually be a young, growing, sustainable business environment. Thank you.
Great job, guys.
Good job.
And if you're not from Indiana, I hope you stay.
Maybe I will.
How about a mic? Testing, testing. It's got a orange light. There you go. Green light, green light. There we go.
All right.
Now let's see, what was my question? Oh, okay. As a business owner, there's going to be cost involved. If I take on your consulting services, there's cost to the consulting, but there's cost to implementing the changes that you guys are going to suggest. What's in it for the area businesses to do that? Do you have the statistics to show me how, what my return on investment is going to be and this sort of thing with your innovations? I mean, why as a business owner would I put into practice what you're suggesting?
I think it would really depend. I mean, a lot of what consulting is it's a per company basis. There's no magic formula with if you implement this, then you're going to get this much in return. And so it would really depend on the company itself, and we would use our financial expertise to kind of evaluate the benefits of, spending money on a new employee break room and the potential benefits of that. And I think even with those sorts of things, you can't say, oh, if you give your employees more break time, then you're going to reap $10,000 more in profit every year. But just using examples, like we did a lot of research and we saw that there's a lot of these types of companies in like California where there's tons of startups and lots of entrepreneurship mindset. But you look at Indiana and we're growing in entrepreneurs every year, but there's nothing kind of that does this. And when you look at, we mentioned Silicon Valley, but all of those companies in California that kind of have that popular, fun work environment, those are the companies that you hear about, and those are the companies that are ultimately successful and they're in the news, and that's what people hear about. And so just providing those tangible examples of companies that have implemented these types of changes and then profited from them, I think is what is going to mainly convince the corporations to invest in their future.
So kind of to bounce off of that, over the past decades, there has been numerous business research of how motivation changes the productivity of the workers. And it's proven that a motivated worker that feels welcome, that feels stress-free to come, produces more. And not also that, if the identification with the job, with you, with your business grows, the chances are also that those workers will be more honest, that will, other things will grow with it, other values will grow with that make the worker more valuable and more productive for your company. So it's kind of, that part it's intangible. I cannot give you a certain number. It's like if you do this, that, you get X amount, in return. That does not.
I was hoping that if I put a slide in,
It would probably happen.
You'd definitely be making a statement.
You have more customers because they'd be there to see your great facility.
It needs to be complete with a ball pit at the bottom.
Yeah.
I like the idea of picking a fun area to locate the business. I think that would attract young people. How many employees do you think you have initially, and what skill levels do those employees have?
I think typically in a consulting firm, you're looking at someone with experience in whatever field they're taking on. Granted, maybe a consulting firm that specializes in installing slides in a company might be good for us. But I think typically like with consulting firms, you do have like someone with like 20 to 30 years experience in whatever field they're doing. And I don't know if that'd be I'm not sure if that'd be any different for this field. But we expect to have on hand, well, we wrote in 3
things like that, and the way that they treat their employees, and just kind of the relationships that they have with them. And so someone who has a lot of business experience, maybe a project manager specialist or something like that, who can, just has a lot of management experience in that end too.
To explain the number 3, human resource problems or culture problems are always very complex because humans are very complex. And whenever there's an issue, just sending one person, only having one person there, we can never fully understand both sides. So it's always good to have other people, all 3 neutral people that the employees feel welcome to talk to, or the boss feels welcome to talk to, that is trustworthy. That's why we kind of stick with number 3, even at the very beginning when we start very small.
I love the name of your company.
Yeah.
I have a happy Monday most Mondays. I get most Mondays. A couple things. One, you had a slide there about the things that students want.
Yep.
I was just curious about kind of, did you do that through? I mean, I'm assuming those are your wants, but did you?
We actually did some research online.
Okay.
And
Okay.
went through my university's library access.
Okay, the other part is sometimes when you go into companies, small, medium, or large, you've got young employees and you've got old people like me. So how do you some people who are more established may not be particularly, they might not particularly embrace slides or,
Yeah, so
I would, but you know what I mean? There's got to be some kind of a melding of those 2 cultures, and so, I mean, did you give some thought as to how you do that, how those things work together? Because there is something to be said for, maintaining some harmony across all the workforce. So, just if you give some
Yeah.
ideas to.
I mean, part of our consultation that Adam talked about is really going in and taking time to observe and even customize surveys for the different employees and management as well. And so, like you said, not every company is going to be able to do a slide, but they are going to be able to do incremental changes over time, hopefully, that they'd be willing to. Because as Alicia, as this growing population of graduates come into these businesses aren't going to reject these people because they need new employees as time progresses to take their place as well. So it's more of a, we need to, and our company really does want to respect the corporate culture that's already in the business, but allow them to be aware and hopefully on their own initiative through our consultation be aware that, yes, I do need to make these incremental changes as well. Might not be as drastic as Google, but it will be drastic enough that younger people will come in and say, this isn't the 60-year-old person's workplace, this could be my workplace. And so it really is a customized personal consultation that we really want to do and make sure that each business continues to keep the history of that place, but also make sure it's welcoming this new generation of workers.
And I think any age would be supportive of replacing a break room that consisted of these folding tables and replacing it with a break room relaxation area that was well lit with comfy sofas and like a cappuccino machine or something.
no matter how old you are, you want to enjoy your job, which is basically what we're basing it on. You could be close to retirement, but that doesn't mean you want your last 5 years to be miserable, even if the last 20 were, We're just,
Really not that bad.
well, so yeah, I mean, we just think that you can improve your job on so many levels. It doesn't have to be crazy installations of, youthful machines, but everyone wants to enjoy their job, so.
I just want to really compliment you all on taking the task at hand and making it a very achievable company plan. I think that's it's great you've done that. So I want to compliment you in that regard. I also want to ask you some follow-up questions. I actually work with municipalities across the state. I work for a utility that provides power to municipalities, and we work with economic development groups within those organizations. So I wondered if you had taken this plan and thought at all about maybe how you could help communities to have more of these companies, maybe through sort of a certification program, so that they could rebrand themselves in that way. I mean, it's one thing to have this certification, but if it isn't a good way of getting it out and making it sort of a credentialing and creating some buzz. So I wondered if you had any discussions on that.
that's only going to fit a certain segment of the environment. Like, why not help all businesses create a much better environment for these younger people to come into and want to live there?
And our solution not only addresses more than one area. I mean, East Central Indiana is like an 8-county area. We're not gonna put one facility in one particular area and only impact that area economically. And also, this firm